Hello and welcome to the British Dapper, and today we're talking about the fit of the shoulder is paramount. So this video is inspired by an email sent to me by Andrew, one of my subscribers, who'd asked the question about how does he avoid getting this divot in the sleeve of his jacket, and how can he avoid that when he's buying a suit. Now, it was easier to make the video about this subject than it was to actually write him back an email explaining it all. But there are a number of reasons that this could be caused, and it can be because the sleeve is too tight around the arm, the bicep, and that can cause an issue. It could be because the actual shoulder length is too long and the slope of the shoulder is not really accounted for properly in the suit. It could be because of your posture. That has a major influence over the way the shoulder slopes and the length of your shoulder compared to a standard cutting or fitting of a shoulder in a ready-to-wear suit or jacket. Now, true to be said, if you're having a bespoke suit made or jacket, chances are you're not going to come across this problem, because normally it's all achieved by the correct measurements and fit to your body type. However, there are some changes that might affect that. For example, if you put on a significant amount of weight or lose weight, you might find that the shoulders are suddenly very tight or too long because you've lost weight in your shoulders compared to the original cut and fit. So it's something to consider. But this problem tends to be more related to ready-to-wear suits and jackets, or what you'd call off the peg. So to get a nice slope and drop on the actual shoulder, you need to get the measurements right, and that means trying different suits on. Different manufacturers use a different template, which means that maybe the slope of the shoulder, the width of the shoulders used for their suits or jackets is an average of their clientele or their statistical information used to create their templates. It's an average. So if you're not an average build, then the chances are you're going to have a little problem either way. And if you're buying off the shelf, you're always going to be playing compromise no matter what you buy. So I would suggest, once you find a certain manufacturer and fit that you like, stick with it. As I said, different manufacturers, different brands have different fits and cuts. So that's one key piece of advice I'd give you. So when we're talking about this area here on the jacket and the sleeve, this can be a problem if, for example, one shoulder might be longer than the other. And I say that with the deepest respect because some people may have had an accident, they may have had a broken collarbone, and when it sets, this shoulder might be less straight than the other one. It might be slightly up, and you're always going to then get a problem with the fit of the jacket. So bearing that in mind is trying to get the best possible fit. Now, when we talk about a divot, I've created one here. This area here, you can see, now that could be caused because in here I've got the shoulder rolling forward. And you can see this line here in the jacket, and this is a good example of somebody with rolled round shoulders or shoulders that point forward. You'll get that crease there, and in this case it's very tight because of the position I've got the arm in, which creates this tightness in the upper arm, which obviously then lifts this pad underneath this area here. ordinarily we wouldn't walk around like that. So you're going to get a different fit when you normally wear a jacket, but you might get that image. So in this case, I've used a tweed jacket, and you can see, because the jacket's very long in the shoulder for my actual shoulder length, you can see that divot naturally appears. Now, whilst the shoulder is really well formed in the padding and the chest area is really well formed, you'll notice that because it overshoots my natural shoulder, when it comes back in at the top of the bicep, you get that little divot, that little crease coming through. And whilst it's not a major thing, if we're trying to avoid that to get a much more straightforward look, for example, this look here, then we need to get that altered. Now, you can have the sleeve head where it meets the shoulder unstitched, shortened in the shoulder, and then reconnected, resewn, and it will bring it in from here maybe half an inch or so, reattached on the inside, and you get that much better fit, snugger fit, but it is expensive to do. And if you're already talking about buying off the rack, ready to wear suit, then maybe it's an additional cost that you don't really want to spend. I mean, it could be literally the same price as buying the suit. And that's fine if you want factor that into your costs, but if you haven't, then maybe you want to look for a different fit and look for a different jacket. So the other way you can get this effect, unfortunately, is if you lose weight. Then obviously you lose the weight in the shoulder area as well as the chest area, and therefore suddenly the jacket is too big for you and you'll get the same effect. And it can be caused because obviously if you've got a traditional fitting jacket, in this case this tweed jacket is a traditional fit, you'll notice it's got a drape to it. Now the drape is not really a design feature in that it's not a thing as such. It's a way of shaping the jacket to create a nice drape. So it's not actually a specific thing as such. It's a combination of things, the way that the jacket is manufactured or created, that gives it a good drape effect. And you'll normally find that with a little bit of material here that gives you a little bit of movement area, and across the back as well, a little bit of relaxed fabric, if you like, in the shoulder area where it meets the sleeve. So you get a little bit of relaxed fabric there that gives you a little bit of movement in the shoulders without it being too tight or too loose. And it gives you a much more relaxed, smooth finish to the look, rather than lots of wrinkles and creases and stretch marks in the fabric. So something else that you can come across is that divot can be created because the sleeve is too tight on the arm, and that can be the top of the bicep and the tricep, and a very slim fitting suit will actually cling to the arm, won't let the actual sleeve head fall into the right position because it's too tight here, and you get a little bunching, and that then creates that divot as well, and you've got a real problem there because it's just too tight. And again, that is an alternative, because you may have had a jacket that fitted you really well, but if you put a lot of weight on, and you put weight on in the chest and shoulder area as well as in the belly, you're going to get that effect straight away. And so it's something that is more of a problem, because although there is a little bit of fabric that can be let out, it's quite finite. You're only talking about 1/4 of an inch maybe before it starts getting very, very tight for a tailor to actually make any significant adjustment there. And you'd be surprised how much you can put on in the shoulders in weight, especially if you're actually doing weight training or something like that, rather than actually just putting on weight because you're eating too much. Because it can be due to exercise as well that you can put weight on. And that is a significant factor when you're actually looking at wearing a jacket and you've been working out. It will have a major impact on the look of the shoulder and the overall look of the jacket. So there are two variations there, too baggy, too tight. The other thing is the actual jacket itself. It could be because the actual shoulders, the position of your shoulders might be, if you have a barreled chest and you have your shoulders back and your chest out, then you tend to get in the back quite a lot of loose fabric and it's tight across the chest area, and that can result in being pulled, and that then creates a divot here as well because you're pulling that fabric across like this. The problem is always going to be that position there. Is some jackets will afford that bit of stretch, some don't. So it comes down to you when you're actually trying to buy a jacket, really looking in the mirror and being hypercritical of what you're looking at. Have you got any creases here? Because if you get a crease here, that tends to mean, for example, this effect. That is because your shoulders are forward and the jacket is not cut for that. It's cut for a shoulders back position. So you've got from the side, shoulders forward, shoulders back, and a neutral position. And you tend to find most suits are cut for a neutral position. That's the best way of describing it. So if you've got a very pronounced forward slopey shoulder or round shouldered effect, or a posture where your shoulders are always back and your chest is out, then chances are you're going to have complications with that shoulder fit. Now you are going to get from time to time a little bit of a divot there, potentially even with a good fitting suit when you're moving around. So when you're moving around or you do something, you might get a little bit of that, but it's temporary and it will tend to fall back to a more natural position where it's more flush and less complicated. But it is one of those things that is very easily created by choosing the wrong jacket, the wrong size, the wrong fitting. But it can be adjusted, but it's going to cost you a bit of money. So factor that in when you're looking for that perfect jacket or that perfect suit. It can be exemplified depending on the color of the suit as well. So I tend to find when you're wearing a, for example, grey suit, but it's got a high shine on it, then the chances are it's going to show that crease up even more. For example, a two-tone suit, if you're wearing a two-tone suit, chances are you're going to see that divot more pronounced because of the two-toned shading in the actual crease. Makes it stand out and much more prominent. So if you've got that problem, generally try and go for something that's flatter in color. For example, more of a matte finish in the material. And sometimes a thicker material is better than a thin one for getting that smoother, slicker look. For example, heavy wools, they accommodate a lot more issues with sleeve and chest problems because they are thicker materials. They don't wrinkle as easily because they're heavier weight materials. And if they're cut reasonably well, you should get a reasonably good drape to not look too restricted in the chest and shoulder area. So as I said, just a short video, just shooting the breeze with you, trying to give you an overview of what could cause that problem in the shoulder area where you get that divot just under the sleeve head. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, then please feel free to do so. We have a Buy Me a Coffee page, so if you'd like to make a contribution to the channel, then please feel free to do so. We also love constructive comments, so if you'd like to make some, jot them down below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And if you've got a question you'd like to pose to us or you'd like an answer to, then why not jot it down? We'll try and answer your question for you. We also like ideas for future videos, so if you want to make a contribution and make a suggestion about future content, then please again jot it in the notes below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. The next video could be something that you've recommended or suggested. So until next time, take care.